Hello, I'm Jo Fay, and this is a SwissInfo podcast. SwissInfo is the multilingual and international public media company of Switzerland. Welcome to a brand new season of The Swiss Connection. Over the next few episodes, you're going to hear about some of the biggest topics in the pharmaceutical and healthcare field, including longevity. Today, we're delving into the latest science on living longer and the rise of longevity clinics. People have been searching for the secrets to longevity for centuries. Huge advances in the science of aging and tech such as AI have given scientists reason to believe we're on the cusp of a major breakthrough. This has fueled a new longevity movement, with clinics and companies popping up in many parts of the world, such as Saudi Arabia, the US, and of course, Switzerland. Although scientists have yet to come up with a winning formula to turn back the clock, Switzerland still has a booming market for treatments, pills and gadgets that all claim to slow down ageing. But is there really something out there that can help us live longer and better? Our journalist Jessica Davis-Plus embarked on a journey to get to the bottom of these questions. Here's Jessica.
I have to admit, I hate talking about my age, but there was no avoiding it for this project. I'm in my mid-40s and can see and feel the signs of aging. The gray hairs, the wrinkles around my eyes, and the muscle aches when I wake up. 4 years ago, I had my ovaries removed because I have a high risk of cancer. This plunged me into menopause. Within 6 months, I felt I had aged 20 years. I found myself asking, does it have to be this way? If we all age differently, shouldn't we be able to slow it down or avoid some of its unfortunate effects? In the last 5 years, there has been a boom in health clinics and wellness spas capitalizing on our thirst to slow down time. And Switzerland is at the forefront of this longevity trend. With its spectacular mountain scenery, thermal waters, and a reputation for luxury and quality healthcare, it's easy to see why. I counted over 20 private clinics offering longevity tests and treatments in this country, and more are popping up every month. Is longevity more than just the latest wellness fad? I wanted to find out for myself, so I went to Clinique La Prairie on the shores of Lake Geneva. Clinique La Prairie opened in 1931 as a medical spa catering to the rich and famous, offering, in their words, pioneering science, rejuvenation, and vitality. Its founder, Swiss doctor Paul Nihans, did groundbreaking work on cell therapy. This involved transferring living cells into the body to repair damaged cells. His work was controversial, but big names such as actress Marlene Dietrich and Winston Churchill all sought out his so-called youth cures. Today, Clinique La Prairie's main site in Montreux has both a medical center and a wellness resort. Its signature longevity program is the week-long Revitalization Premium. It focuses on medical care, nutrition, movement, and well-being at a cost of 50,000 Swiss francs a week. The package also includes their secret rejuvenation formula, which is an oral supplement. It is inspired by Nihan's original work and only available for guests. On a somewhat smaller budget, I could only manage an 8-hour visit to their main resort in Montreux, which has a sleek, modern interior with a beautiful view of the lake. All guests undergo a series of tests to understand their longevity or health status. One of the first things I did was undergo a nutrition test.
Are you claustrophobic?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
No.
Because you can actually stop whenever you want.
I'm with La Prairie's health science specialist, Giorgia Grisotto.
To evaluate the calorimetry.
I will wrap you.
To get a picture of my metabolic health, which is how many calories I need at rest, she wrapped me in plastic with a clear dome over my head attached to an oxygen tube. I found out that I need about 1,700 calories, which, according to Grisotto, isn't as good as a young, fit athlete who typically needs about 2,000. but not horrible for my age.
What does it mean? Your basal metabolism,
Okay.
the energy that your body needs, not counting the physical activity, only for the vital processes like breathing, heart beating, and so on. So all the energy that your body by default needs every day, independently by the activity, extra activity, working, whatever.
This is just one of the many tests I underwent. I also did an oligo scan to check heavy metals in my body and stood on a Tanita body mass scale. This spits out a slew of numbers, including my body mass index. This is all used to create a nutrition score and design a diet tailored to my risks for age-related diseases.
So in this way, it's very important when we plan the diet, because we know that we shouldn't go. If you need every day 1,400, I cannot actually set up a diet with 800 of calories. The type of diet that we follow here, it's anti-inflammatory. We actually work on the plant-based diet. Plant-based, that it doesn't mean vegan, it doesn't mean vegetarian. It means that we avoid completely the inflammatory ingredients like red meat, that we don't serve red meat, we don't serve alcohol, we don't have actually
No alcohol
no alcohol,
in this whole place.
so we don't serve to the guest. Yes, so I know that I because we try to boost as much as possible in this week. Then of
Chances of success.
course, exactly. Then of course, I mean, if someone asks, may I drink a glass of wine at home? Yes, you can. It's not, but here it's even a medical approach.
I got to experience this firsthand during lunch, where I had a longevity menu that included a butternut squash with galangal-infused milk and onion juice. I also spent time with a movement trainer to compare my balance and reaction speed against the average for my age. And I spent an hour in an infrared detox dome, where I apparently slept for 20 minutes and came out feeling like Jell-O, in a good way. I found it easy to imagine that after a week at the clinic, I'd be feeling younger. But would my body actually be younger? Possibly. Since the 1990s, new technology and a series of scientific breakthroughs have allowed researchers to find out more about why we age.
It's actually relatively easy to modulate aging, but we still don't really understand it. And I think that the reason for that is it is this sort of network in your body that attempts to keep you healthy. And it's not there for aging. It's there for just to maintain your health in response to things that happen to you. But over time, it breaks down. And I think most of the longevity interventions are basically preserving that network longer.
That's Brian Kennedy, one of the top scientists on aging and the director of the Center for Healthy Longevity in Singapore. Scientists used to think that genes were responsible for 80% of our lifespan, but studies now show that our environment and lifestyle are possibly even more important. That means the amount we exercise and sleep and the food we eat matter. In 2013, scientists came out with the first biological age clock. This is a way to measure how old a person's cells are compared to the average for their chronological age. Although these clocks aren't perfect, they're giving scientists more confidence to say that we can actually slow down the aging process by tackling a series of so-called hallmarks. These hallmarks are signs of aging in our cells and tissue.
Slowing aging, at least modestly, I think is not as hard as we thought. Now, if you really want to talk about stopping aging or reversing aging, then that's another discussion. And I don't think anybody knows whether that's even possible.
The argument is that if we can slow aging, then we can live healthier for longer. This is what has been referred to as health span, the time we are in good health, which is different than lifespan, the number of years we live. Extending health span is Clinique La Prairie's focus. Simone Gibertoni is the CEO of Clinique La Prairie and the driving force behind its longevity programs.
We never talk about reverse aging. By the way, I would question the top American scientist, which I was on stage with them recently. which they were saying 5 years ago, in 3 years we are gonna be in a situation where we're gonna live forever, because every year we're gonna find a way to gain 1 year of life. So we are never gonna die. Now, more than 5 years has passed and we are not there. What we are very focused is improving the health span. So there are in average 7 years where people are not functioning, the last 7 years of their life. So I see this should be our main focus.
The clinic has 6 hubs and resorts in Europe, Asia, and the Gulf region. Gibertoni claims his biological age is 3 to 4 years younger than his chronological age of 52. He says longevity is responding to a problem in our healthcare system, which is that it doesn't prioritize prevention.
I think this is mismatching between this huge wave about longevity, but the world is going on a completely different direction. Obesity, mental health, Ozempic, GLP drugs, which are booming. So I think it's interesting to see that in reality, the world is still not following the longevity method, and we should do something about it, because otherwise, even if you take Switzerland, the system is collapsing, even in Switzerland.
Given the cost of some of the clinics and treatments, it isn't surprising, though, that there is some skepticism about what they offer. Some scientists worry that in the absence of regulation, customers are doling out millions under false promises. Most of the treatments at clinics, such as cold chambers, red light therapy, vitamin infusions, and hyperbaric oxygen, have been shown to improve health in athletes or help us sleep better, but most fail to show that the benefits last and slow aging at the cellular level. And while some treatments, such as taking the immunosuppressant drug rapamycin, we will talk about this one in detail in a later episode, or intermittent fasting, extend the lifespan of worms and mice, there is very little evidence, if any, of their ability to do the same in humans. Christoph Hanchin, a cell biologist at the Biozentrum at the University of Basel, wrote a paper on separating fact and fiction in the longevity field.
You mentioned these longevity clinics, so I also looked at some of these, and I think there is huge differences in terms of what they do, what they offer, what is evidence-based, and what's more speculative. Where we have really good evidence in humans are things that might appear pedestrian vis-a-vis all these new fancy molecular things. So where we have clear evidence that you can influence healthy aging, longevity, the best study is physical activity. There's tons of huge cohorts in tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions, where this has been shown, this correlation between being physically active, healthy aging, and also life expectancy.
Hanchin supports several interventions that many clinics offer, such as measuring the VO2 max, which is an indication of a person's fitness and cardiovascular health. He agrees that physical activity, a good diet, and sleep are essential. He's skeptical about some offers by these clinics, though.
You also have these infusions that you can do, is sit on these very nice chairs and watch out the Lake of Zurich, and you get some infusions of whatever. And then some of the treatments, cold immersions, cryo treatments. There's no data at the moment that these really help in any thing. From our background, now there's good data that if you do this as an athlete, you actually dampen your exercise, your training response if you do cold water immersion or cryo treatment right after training, because your blood vessels will constrict and you have less blood flow to the muscles to remove, byproducts, to bring in substrates and so forth. So it's detrimental, to your training effect. And for aging, for these things, there's no evidence at the moment that this does anything.
Despite the mixed evidence, some people are willing to give longevity treatments and clinics a try, in the hope that they will open the door to better health, despite the risks, and even if there's no guarantee of living longer. But maybe you could tell me first about yourself. I spoke on the phone to Johan Hurlibaus, who bought a longevity package last summer at the Alpine Day Clinic, along with his wife.
I have been working 25 years in the healthcare industry, so that's why I'm also quite familiar with at least the background.
Johan's in his early 50s, a German citizen who works near Zurich. He paid 5,000 francs for a 12-month program that included longevity checkups, doctor consultations, and some treatments.
I do lots of sports, always living fairly healthy. I had never any disease, chronic disease. I'm not overweight at all. But of course, you never know until you do your tests and making sure you stay healthy in the next 20, 30 years. And that's why, we both decided that it's a time to start.
I asked Johan what he took away from the program.
First of all, I know that I have genetically high cholesterol, so that is actually something then they recommended me to really start taking a small dose of statins, which I started. That was very important for me, probably the most important thing. I would have ignored this another 10 years. It could have been very serious. And again, here I had someone that said, well, you definitely need to do something. And then, of course, very important also was the fitness test. I am extremely fit when it comes to endurance, but I'm not so very strong. And so that's really was, again, important because it also need to change my way I do exercise, a bit less endurance and a bit more strength exercise.
Another important game changer for him was the DNA test. I asked him about the costs. He said it was worth it.
We treat people once they are sick, and then it's unfortunately costly, and so often it's too late, and then they end up in a chronic condition. And we need to get more into the preventive space.
Many of the people I spoke with at longevity clinics said that longevity is really just another way to talk about prevention, and that what they offer is a personalized plan for staying healthy longer.
I was working in different hospitals here in Zurich. I realized that the diseases we were treating every day, most of them could have been prevented if we would have started earlier.
That's Leonie Bode, co-founder and medical advisor at Alpine Day Clinic in Zurich.
So, and this is why I dived more into this longevity topic. I mean, the name longevity is quite new. In the end, it's personalized prevention. We see us as a complement, like really a complementary institution to the family doctor or to other doctors. So what the general health check is doing is try to detect diseases early. And this is very good. But what we try is not only to detect diseases early, but to really prevent you from developing a disease. So we are starting like 10 miles before you even go to the family doctor to do your first check. Because we really see 20 years before you might develop a heart problem.
Bode said that when they think about introducing new treatments at the clinic, the first goal is to not do any harm.
There are a lot of things around that, people ask for, but just the evidence is not good. And we don't want to offer anything without evidence that really convinces us that there is a positive benefit. The key is really to know where you stand right now, because otherwise how do you want to know if you improve or if you don't? So those parameters we can already measure, and here we measure more than 150 biomarkers from every customer that comes and put them together, and then we can track it. And of course it's not only the measurement, but also giving really personalized recommendations.
I learned a lot about my own health during this project, but many recommendations about staying healthy and living longer I already know, but struggle to put into practice. What's clear is that there still isn't a magic pill that will help us live longer or stay healthy as we get older, but there is growing confidence that we might get there someday. In the meantime, the best advice is to listen to what your grandmother likely told you. Eat your vegetables, exercise, and sleep.
Thank you, Jessica. Longevity has become really big business, hasn't it? And I think it must be really hard for people to sort out, what's just hype and what will actually help them. Do you have any tips after all this reporting that you've been doing?
I would say the most important thing is to make sure that any clinics you go to have strong medical credentials. For example, that you have consultations with a general medicine doctor. There are a growing number of doctors who even have training in longevity medicine, but the field is still in its infancy.
Okay, thanks very much, Jessica. And we have 5 more episodes coming up this season. They're all linked to hot healthcare topics right now. In our next episode, we're looking at Alzheimer's, a disease that affects many people as they age. For more science stories, visit our website, swissinfo.ch. You can help others to find our podcast by leaving us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Today's episode was recorded and edited by our science and video journalist Michele Andina. For more content, visit our website, swissinfo.ch. I'm Jo Fay. Thanks for listening.
Hello, this is Imogen Folks from Swissinfo's Inside Geneva podcast. This summer, like last year, we're bringing you a fascinating series of summer profiles, starting with doctor, aid worker, and now journalist Tamam Aloudat.
Can we afford to only put roofs over people's heads and do nothing about the system? If your house was bombed for the first time, I understand. If it was bombed for the 17th time, and instead of a house, you have a tarp, and instead of food, you have animal feed or grass to eat.
Then later this month, we'll hear from international lawyer and candidate to be judge on the International Court of Justice, Dapo Akande.
It's clearly the case that in far too many cases, international law is disregarded, and you only have to turn on the news to see that. What I do know is that actually international law is increasingly regarded as relevant.
From now till September, we've got all sorts of amazing people to talk to, from an aid worker in Gaza right now to someone who started his career in Gaza 40 years ago. Join us on Inside Geneva, wherever you get your podcasts.